Hello, everybody. Stream is live. Can everybody see me and hear me? All right. Looking good on my end? All right. So, Seahawks played a preseason game a couple hours ago. Let's go ahead and spend a little bit of time talking about it. Lost 19 to 15. Overall, decent amount of good things to take away from that game. Decent amount of things to be concerned about. But overall, for a game where you played very few potential starters and really, I would say, zero guaranteed starters outside of special teams, you did pretty well for yourself. So that's what we're going to get into. I'm going to give people a couple minutes to round up. Is Gilbert going to pitch the whole game, by the way? He's only at 78 pitches. He needs 7 more outs. Yeah, I'm watching. We don't need him to pitch the whole game, really, but we did use the whole bullpen last night. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if he could go like 9 innings, or, well, 8 innings, let's say. Okay. Hey, Darius Brown, welcome to the stream. Do you think Levi makes the cut? I think he might now that Mike Morris is on IR. We played him inside on the line a lot today, which tells me we know he's not going to make it as an edge, but he can make it as a lineman. That's not bad. That's at least a possibility. I saw someone say Jarek Reed should start. I mean, he does look really good, but that's kind of the issue here. There's not really any room for him to start. Although there probably will be an opportunity for him to play at some point this season because now Joey Blunt looks like he's hurt. Some people think Joey Blunt's hurt seriously. We don't know yet. No, I don't think Jamal plays week 1. Week 2, I think he's got a shot. Yeah, I think that's important to keep in mind here. It was their starters versus our backups for quite a few snaps. At least Jarek Reed can tackle. Finally, a rookie with decent tackling skills. Yeah, he looks like the real deal so far, but he's gonna have to prove it. Darius Brown, he's better than Tyreek, man. I mean, the thing is, we have things invested into Tyreek. We don't have anything invested in Levi Bell, so the organization is going to be very hesitant to move off of Tyreek because Tyreek has looked good. Overall, this preseason, I think Tyreek Smith has looked good. How did Kobe Bryant do? Couldn't catch the game. Don't remember you mentioning him in your vid. I didn't notice Kobe very much at all. I didn't notice him doing anything really bad, but he didn't stand out. Um, so I'd say he played okay, just kind of unremarkable. Also, Jackson has looked iffy, but I think a big part is they're playing him on the opposite side a lot, which might be uncomfortable for him. Yeah, Joe, but that's where he's going to play this year, right? Like, we're out of time for him to get ramped up. So if this is going to be a problem, then maybe it does have to be Trey Brown. And I feel like Mike Jackson's better than Trey Brown, but Trey Brown was a 4th round draft pick. And maybe he just needed that extra year to get back from the injury, and now he's going to be back to what he was. Hybrid safety and cornerback, he was tackling for sure. Yeah, I know he missed one tackle early in the game. I think it was the first play of the game he missed a tackle. But after that, I didn't notice him positively or negatively. The thing is, Kobe's definitely going to make the team unless we really love Artie Burns or something like that. Like, he would probably be the guy who goes for Artie Burns, I guess, but I don't really think that would happen. No, I want Trey Brown more moxie, in my opinion, even though Jackson has more experience. I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty defensible at this point. I want to see how they do things, though, man. I can respect it either way, but at the end of the day, it's they have more information than I do, so they need to get it right. I do not on the rainiest day want to see Mike Jackson starting. I don't know. I think people are being a little too harsh on Mike Jackson. He was pretty good last year, and now he's been bad in the preseason, and people are really judging him on the preseason. Like, why wouldn't we judge him based off of what he did in meaningful games last year more? What about Spoon on the outside and Trey Brown at the slot? I don't think we have any evidence that Trey Brown can play slot. Maybe he can. He is small, and he does have shorter arms, I guess. But Trey Brown in the slot is something that's unproven as far as I know. So you can't just do it unless you have actual some kind of reason to believe that he can do it. Bobo starting week 1 for JSN. At this point, I don't know who else it could be. Maybe it could have been Cody Thompson, but he's hurt. I still want to see Jackson get a few starts before we jump to conclusions. Yeah, I kind of agree, Otho. I'm not going to judge him harshly based off the preseason. I mean, remember, we don't have Woolen or Witherspoon. Those are the two corners who would be ahead of him, so he's kind of getting thrust into action here. Okay, so I'm not expecting a ton of people here in the stream today. It is last preseason game. There doesn't seem to be as much enthusiasm behind it as there is for the first two preseason games and, of course, the regular season. So probably not going to be a massive show today or anything like that. But we definitely want to get in the flow of doing things the way we will do them in the regular season. So Seahawks lose 19-15. Offensively, they have a little bit of a tough day. There were definitely good plays and good moments. Drew Lock overall, I thought, played fine. Sir Roderick Thompson looked pretty good. He looked like a guy who deserves to be on the practice squad, maybe. We got another good game from Jake Bobo and a great game from Aesop Winston. Oh, sorry. Brain freeze. Kobe Parkinson, I thought looked good. The offensive line pass protected well. Run blocking was a struggle, but overall, offensively, we just couldn't pick up third downs. We were in a lot of bad third down situations, but overall, we really struggled to pick up third downs. Cam Young is injured. CJ Max. Defensively, however, I was pretty impressed. Given the fact that Green Bay was playing their starters for the first few drives, I thought we held up pretty well. Levi Bell was playing inside quite a bit, and I thought he played pretty well. So maybe that's how we're trying to get him on this roster. And I think that may end up working out because we do have some injuries up there to Cam Young and Mike Morris. Matt Gotel, I don't think there's room for him on this team, but he played a good game. Maybe he's a last-second practice squad possibility. That's open. Why am I so damn tired? What's happening with Julian Love? Barely hearing him talked about. I don't think he played today. I think my guess, and this is a guess, is that we saw how wet the field was, and we didn't want very many important players to play, which is why you didn't see any. Part of the reason why you didn't see any starters. But anyway, defensively, not a lot of pass rush. The pass rush was okay. We never sacked the quarterbacks, but we did get some pressure, so that was good. There were actually a lot of plays where the quarterback hurt us with his legs, which is better than getting beat up in coverage. But there were a lot of plays where the coverage was good and the quarterback just had to tuck it and run. So I'm going to actually say that's a pretty good problem to have more than anything. So I'd rather have that than having a bunch of coverage busts. John Radigan played a better game, I would say. He looked decent today, and I mean, we may need him for a few games, so it's good that he looked okay in this game. Devin Bush, I thought, looked good. He didn't play that much, and he did get hurt on special teams. And by the way, apparently he has a concussion. We're going to have to talk about that more later. But I thought Devin Bush, when he played on defense, looked good. Mike Jackson had a rough day, but it wasn't all bad like last week. There was definitely some bad, but there was also some good as well. Artie Burns had a great game, and it's going to be hard to figure out how to keep him on this roster, but I would no longer be shocked if we found a way because he 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 just looks so damn good right now. Um, what else do we have? What else do we have? Oh, yeah, to me the player of the game was probably Jarek Love II. I thought he was awesome. I thought Jarek Reed was a pretty dominant force out there today. Made a lot of plays in the backfield, made a lot of good tackles, was all over the place in coverage. I really like what I saw from Jarek Reed. He looked like a guy who's ready to play. Now, he's not really going to get to play that much at first because Adams and Diggs and Love are ahead of him, but don't be surprised if he finds his way onto the field at some point this year and does positive things. It seems like maybe we hit on that one. Little early to say for sure, but I'm feeling good about that one. And that's most of the stuff that really stands out in this game. Nothing else really like stuck out to me than those things. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the chat. We got about 85 people in here right now. Looks like, yeah, 83 to be exact. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I know we're going to pick up more guys as we go along here, but it is going to be... I could tell from the pregame video, people are really ready for this preseason to be done and for the games to matter. But thank you to everybody who is here. Please like the stream if you haven't already. You can subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are 94 subscribers away from our goal for the end of August, which is 14,000. We can get there. It's going to be tough, but we have the opportunity to get there as this off-season winds down officially and we start getting towards the actual meaningful games. So if you haven't subbed already and you want daily Seahawks content, click that sub button. And yeah, there are also many ways you can support beyond that. We've already crushed the membership goal for August. Of course, we crushed it forever ago because of gifted memberships, which was awesome. If you want a super chat or tip, click the link in the description or click the $ next to the chat. Yeah, that's about it. So thank you, everybody, for hanging around. So let's take a look. Jarek Reed actually kind of looks like Diggs with his play style. Seems like he's a little more active in run support than Diggs. Like, he made 2 tackles for loss in this game. I think there was a screen pass, and I think there was a QB keeper that he had tackles for loss on. That's not really Diggs' game. So maybe Reed ends up being a more versatile safety, which you do need in the Fangio defense, don't get me wrong. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. But to me, the thing that really stood out today was he was just always around the ball, even around the line of scrimmage. So I love it. I was happy we didn't play a lot of starters. I think they were more cautious after the JSN injury. Yeah, we did actually have some injuries, though. Bush has a concussion. I feel like Joey Blunt could be hurt for a while. I have a bad feeling about the Joey Blunt injury. Not that it matters that much since he was fighting for the practice squad. But I do think he would have made the practice squad. But for all we know, he broke it. Somebody in the Discord theorized that he broke his collarbone, which would be a big problem. And what else? There was one other injury. Oh, Derek Hall. No word on how severe it is yet, but Derek Hall did get hurt, but no idea how severe it is. I mean, with how fast he is sideline to sideline. Oh, okay. I can get behind that. Ernud, what did you think of Lucas Van Ness? I didn't notice him that much. I wasn't. noticing anything. Was he killing it out there? Because if he was, I just didn't notice, I guess. Who do you think our best special teamers will be? You mean in terms of like coverage? I assume you're talking about like kickoff coverage and punt coverage. Probably Nick Ballore if you're talking about like that.
Much to this.
Would say Nick Ballore. It would have been nice to see Drew Lock in on the final drives. I guess they figured Lock had already done enough. I guess they had just kind of figured that they wanted to at least give Holton one drive in a pressure situation. I don't know. I would have rather seen Locke out there too because Holton Allers doesn't really matter to me, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. Eric Tams, thank you for the $9.99, and that should have activated the Nwosu GIF. I think that it did. If it didn't, somebody please let me know. Thank you, Eric Tams, for the $9.99 predictions for Cup versus Spoon weeks 1 and 10. I kind of feel like Spoon's not going to play week 1, or if he does play, it's going to be very little. So that game, I don't know. But week 10, Stafford's going to be hurt by then. So I'm going to say Cup gets like 3 catches for 39 yards or something. MartyWilliams, let's trade for Chris Jones. I've thought about that, of course. I've definitely batted it around in my head, the Chris Jones trade, but the trade would probably be something like first round pick plus third round pick plus Daryl Taylor. I don't really want to do that. I don't like that trade. I actually think I'd have to walk away. I'm a little more interested in Buckner because I think he'll be cheaper. Oh man, we didn't leave Gilbert out there. Gilbert didn't wasn't even at 85 pitches. Let him get to 8 innings at least. Boo. Hilton threw like 4 times into crazy covered windows with no mustard. Well, he's not really a quarterback, and you see it on plays like that. He's a fullback with a big arm, and big being relative. He has a big arm for a fullback, so you're gonna have a lot of things like that happen. I'm still convinced we must trade or something for more defensive line depth. That's a good bet. I would still expect something to happen. It might be minor. Which rookie gets a chance to start this season? JSN will kind of be a starter. Witherspoon will probably start. Oluwatimi if Evan Brown gets hurt, but Oluwatimi actually didn't play that well today. That might have been because he just came back from an injury, so I'm not like trying to drag him, but he didn't play all that well. But I would say those two. I'm not Jamal Adams 2.0 no go on Chris Jones trade. Yeah, it's too much, I think. I'm just not, it doesn't feel right. He's too old. When you traded for Jamal Adams, at least he was what, 24? And he had most of his career in front of him. You can't say that with Chris Jones. He's already probably played his best season. Do you think we get away from Jamal Adams after this season? Probably. That's kind of what I expect. Yeah, we didn't restructure him when we could have, theoretically. So I would say we probably do. Is Buckner even available? I don't know if he is available, but I think he will be available if they trade Jonathan Stewart. Or, excuse me. I keep saying Jonathan Stewart. I'm thinking about that old Carolina running back, Jonathan Taylor. If they trade Jonathan Taylor, I think they have to trade their valuable veterans. It's just common sense. Do you think Kobe will play slot in week 1 if Spoon doesn't play? I think it's going to be Julian Love, actually. Lincoln. I think it's going to be Julian Love. Everyone on the Colts is available. Yeah, probably how it's going to be after Taylor gets moved. Which, by the way, there's a deadline on that, by the way. If they don't move him by Tuesday, I guess they're not moving him. So this is a big couple of days here for that. I feel like if they trade him, then they got to seriously consider trading pretty much everybody on their team with value. Grover, Stewart, Quentin Nelson. Maybe they can't trade Quentin Nelson because of the contract, but they got to try. Ryan Kelly. Like, it's time to completely blow it up. You think Bobo makes the team? Oh, yeah. I think he was going to make the team before today. Like, we need him, and he's playing really well. Blah, 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 blah. He had to make this team. There was no way around it. So, he's making the team. Any chance the Mariners get Otani? We talk about this a lot in the Twitch streams. Um, I really do feel like there's a better chance now that he tore his UCL, but man, that's a lot of money to pay. And I on some level, now that he's torn his UCL and is just another really good hitter, I kind of understand being less excited, but I would still do it. I liked your critique on the PFF grades from the other preseason game. Are you planning on doing another one? I might. I haven't looked at them yet. If I look at them and think they're terrible, like they give Drew Lock another like 41 or whatever the hell they gave him, I'm going to be like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. I didn't make a video about that. I think I mentioned it in an unrelated video, just saying like the PFF grades in the Vikings game were garbage because I watched that game and they didn't line up with anything that I saw. Michael Jackson looked bad. Thoughts? Well, he's looked bad in two straight preseason games, but he looked good for pretty much all of last season. So I don't think the preseason is going to cost him his job when he looked good last year in the regular season. So I uh I think he gets a chance when the season starts, but pretty quickly you can yank him out for Witherspoon or Brown or there's a ton of guys you can mix and match around in the secondary until you find something that works. So if Mike Jackson doesn't cut it, then they can deal with that. Did we play DT? If we didn't, then does that mean anything for a trade? Well, he's hurt. He got hurt a few weeks ago, and he's almost back, but he's not back yet. He didn't play because he's injured, so I don't think it means anything beyond that. And I don't think we're going to trade him. For the record, when I talk about the possibility of trading Daryl Taylor, that's just me speculating on things that are technically possible, more so than it is something that I actually believe the team will do. Aside from the investment piece of it using a draft pick on him, you think Tyreek Smith has earned a spot more than Levi Bell? Interesting. Levi Bell's played better in the preseason, but here's the thing. Tyreek Smith was actually pretty good in college on Ohio State. He has a track record of being a player of quality caliber at a big school that is playing good competition. Levi Bell wasn't even that good at where did he play? Wyoming State, Chattanooga, Tulane. You know, he played at one of those really small schools. So small, in fact, that he was able to get away with playing as a three tech despite being like 265 or something. But in the NFL, that's not going to work, so I wonder. What are your thoughts on the rumors about Jeff Bezos wanting to buy the Seahawks? I'm fine with it. Anybody who will just sign the checks and get out of the way, I'm okay with. Most of the time, that's all you can hope for with an owner. Sometimes you get an owner like Paul Allen who's really, really invested and really, really cares, but that's hard to find. So I'm not even asking for that. I just want an owner who has money and won't move the team. Do you think Sykes makes the team? He might have to because of some of the defensive line injuries, but under normal circumstances, no. I think he's a practice squad guy. In this circumstance, I think he's got a really good chance. Yeah, he has been solid at defensive tackle this preseason. I agree, Superman. But even with our thin defensive line, I'm just not seeing a lot of room. Can Pete please stop icing the kicker? It's proven to not work. That's my only critique of Pete right now. Yeah, I don't understand that one at all. Like, there's evidence to indicate that it helps the kicker more than it hurts. It rarely works. Like, it worked for the Broncos one time back in 2010 or 2011 or something. Aaron Rodgers with 3 of 5 completions on the first drive. You think A Bear makes practice squad, Rocky? Oh, wow. Teoscar goes yard again. He is feeling it. You think A Bear makes practice squad? I really hope he does because I like him a lot. But he's kind of weird. He's too small to be an NFL tight end, so he kind of projects to fullback. But fullbacks barely play. I'll say he makes the practice squad though. That's tight. Wouldn't shock me if we decided to go a different direction. We just decided, you know what, this guy doesn't fit the way we want to play. Run game has been fairly hit or miss this preseason. You concerned, or do you think they could figure it out soon? Well, most of our time in preseason has been spent with backups. Remember, we haven't seen our starting running back at all, and it sounds like he's going to be back no problem for week 1, so you have to remember we haven't even seen our starting running back yet. However, I do think our running game is going to struggle sometimes this season just because the offensive line's not really built for big time run blocking, and I don't think that any back we had can overcome that the way Adrian Peterson did. Should we be worried about interior O-line? You should be aware of the fact that it's not very good. Worried, I don't think is the right word there. Worried implies it could go one way or the other. We already kind of know Phil Haynes is just a dude. Wishing we didn't extend Nick, especially considering being tight in money and the flexibility of Hey Bear and Bell. The podcast isn't worth the inflated salary. You know, this is going to sound kind of dumb. I do feel like Nick Bellore might be a guy who earns his money off the field in the locker room. He's like Udonis Haslam or something, where he's not putting up numbers, he's not getting on the field a lot, he's not doing great stuff on the field, but he makes himself worth a couple million extra just because of what he is offering in that locker room in terms of like leadership. And I could be wrong, but that's the best guess I have for us to keep him around for this long because we don't use a fullback enough to keep him around for any other reason. So I'm guessing that's the reason. If not, then I don't get it. The Lions cut Christian Covington. Interested. I'm not familiar with how good Christian Covington has been lately. And the Cowboys run a 4-3, I think. Yeah, they do. So therefore, I don't know if he'll fit. I'm sorry. The Lions, not the Cowboys. I don't know why I said the Cowboys. So, I don't know. Christian Covington, I don't remember being big on him before the draft, and I don't really think I am now. Yeah, that's a good point. Easy as a fan to just look at black and white. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff, but there's got to be something there, right? There's got to be something there. I mean, we gave him that contract in the first place. The only way that makes sense is if there's something behind the scenes with him that we just don't get to see. It's for them. Buckner trade still makes sense to me if we want to go for it this year. Yeah, I like the idea of the Buckner trade. I'm off the Chris Jones thing because it's going to cost too much, but I really think Bruce might be willing to give the baby up for, there are things that he would give the baby up for. Man, that sounds weird in context, out of context, don't it? You think Jackson plays better? I've been a pretty big Jackson believer since last year. I think he will. Yeah, he will. He's proven he can play well in the regular season. That means more to me than him getting beat up a little bit in training camp. I mean, the training camp stuff is bad, but I don't think that it is so bad that it's worse than what the streamers have to deal with. Would you be good with Kobe Bryant being a starting safety after they move on from Adams and Diggs? If he learns the position, sure. But that's going to take a while to determine. Bruce Irvin? Bruce Irvin's not on the team. He retired. Did Trey Brown play? I believe so. Seemed to play fairly well. Okay, well, the Rays are winning, the Red Sox are winning, the Astros are winning, and the Blue Jays already won. So we didn't get any help today, but at least for this day, we're not really going to need it. Astros are still playing. They're still very early in that game. And the Rangers play late tonight. Well, not that late, actually. Okay. Is JSN supposed to be ready by week 1? It sounds like he has a chance, but I don't expect it, right, guy? I think that JSN is probably going to be out for 1 week and then back for week 2. But time will tell. And we don't need to rush this. JSN is going to be a key part of this team for probably like at least 8 years. I don't want to mess around with that. So absolutely punch in a pick on absolutely punch in a pick on JSN missing week 1, I think. And Bobo, especially because Bobo's playing so well. Trey Brown will probably start if Spoon isn't good to go. I feel like Jackson still gets it until he loses it. I think Jackson needs to play poorly in the regular season before they bail. So I'm going to say that Jackson starts week 1, and people aren't going to feel great about that, but he might have the short hook. It's already the 9th inning. Ugh. So let me check the NFL calendar here real quick. August 29th is the cutdown day. Okay, Tuesday is the cutdown day. So we might cut before then, but we have to be down to 53 by 1 p.m. on Tuesday. Who will be starting center? It's definitely Evan Brown. Olu got hurt, so he didn't have the opportunity to compete that much in camp. So it has to be Evan Brown basically by default. And Olu didn't look that good today, honestly. Not me knocking Oluwatimi because he's a rookie and he was coming off an injury, but he didn't look that good to my eye. And yeah, Evan Brown's clearly the it. You think Spoon will take a starting outside cornerback role from Jordan or Jackson by the end of the season? Oh, well before the end of the season. Spoon has way more talent than a guy like Jackson. It's not even close. Once Spoon gets up to game speed, I think that he pretty much takes the job immediately. This is a guy who had a lot of experience in college. He's not super raw like some players. He's somebody who has built a lot of reps in zone and man, so nothing you throw at him is going to confuse him too badly. So, yeah. I definitely think Spoon will be a starting outside cornerback before the end of the season. You might still see him in the slot a lot, but I don't think you're going to see him. I don't think you're going to see him sitting behind Jackson for long. Oh, that was a fair ball. Dang. Is Jackson only good in zone? I don't know. Watching it, it seems like he's just playing off the receiver, and then he gives up a lot of short stuff. So maybe he'll be better in man than zone. I don't know. Like last year, we ran a lot of zone, but we also did a lot of match man, and Jackson played pretty decently. Oh, that's a foul. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a foul ball. He got into that though. But I don't know. I'm not ready to bail on Jackson yet. I need to see this continue into the regular season first. How do you think the D line plays this season? It's not going to be great or anything like that. That's for sure. I do think Draymond is better than any defensive lineman we've had in a long time. But overall, I'm not expecting great things from the defensive line. Hopefully, it's better than last year because last year was the worst, especially against the run. But this year, I'm not going to say it's going to be good. It'll be better. And maybe that's all we need. Do you think we'll see Jamal Adams in the box and who is the single safety high? We better. That's part of what makes Jamal Adams so good. And I imagine Quandre Diggs would be the single safety high. He's the guy we trust to take away the big play. So, yeah, I would say that. So, who is our starting slot? Week one, I'm going to say Julian Love. But as the year goes on, I think it might be Witherspoon. That would be my guess. Do you think Bradford played better today? Obviously, Kenny Clark was giving everyone the business, but I didn't notice Bradford playing terribly. No, no. The offensive line in general didn't stand out to me as doing anything all that bad. They didn't play great every play, but I thought that the offensive line, which was made up of a bunch of backups, like I've already said, played respectably. I didn't have a big problem with the way they were playing. Hey, Brendan, look at those Mariners go. If John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan reported to you, would the Trey Lance thing be an action that would get them fired if you were in charge? I would fire John Lynch. Shanahan, no, I don't think. Based on the information that I have, Shanahan wanted somebody else, and Lynch forced him to take Trey Lance. If that's true, then yeah, I'm just gonna punch in on John Lynch. Every time Kevin Harlan said Kobe Bryant, I felt like I was watching the Lakers. I didn't get the broadcast with Kevin Harlan. I got the one with Mark Schlereth, who had a play-by-play announcer. I don't know who it was, but she was really bad. Like late in the fourth quarter, a Packers receiver made a big catch, and she said it was Christian Watson because Christian Watson is going to be in the game at the end of the fourth quarter of the third preseason game. Like, are you kidding me? Hey, Sloby One, how are we doing? We're doing pretty good. Except Forsyth, that guy's really bad. Forsyth didn't stand out to me as being really bad in this game, at least. So that was good, but he's just never going to be better than he is right now, really, is he? So maybe we just cut him now. Maybe we'd rather have Levi Bell than Stone Forsyth, even though it leaves us in an awkward position. She's unbearable, her voice. I have to turn off the sound. I'm not crazy about her voice, but she kept getting names wrong in a way that doesn't make any sense. Again, fourth quarter, Packers receiver catches a long pass, and she says Christian Watson. Yeah, because Christian Watson's going to be playing in the fourth quarter of the last preseason game. All right, Mariners win. Bang. Yeah, Stone's not starting for us. Cross is starting. Cross didn't play today. How many years do you think Pete and John have? I don't know. Their contracts are up after next season. She sounds like Susie Colbert after about 5 cups of coffee. I don't know. That part I can is whatever, but she kept getting names wrong and it got on my nerves. Starting center's Evan Brown, Sloby. He's pretty good. Not a great scheme fit, but he'll do. 15-2. God damn. Will any NFL team have a record as good as our final score against the Royals today? Will any NFL team go 15-2? What do you guys think? Doesn't feel like it, does it? I think the only team that has a chance is Philadelphia. Depends on when they sell the team. I wouldn't see any front office change until then. Yeah, that may happen as well, Charles. No, we've never gone 15-2. The Chiefs are not going to go 15-2. They don't have Chris Jones for the first half of the season. Every Chiefs game for the first half of the season is going to be like 49-48. Their only elite defender is holding out, and they sound like they have no intention of bridging the gap. By the way, this whole thing's ridiculous. When are the Niners just going to pay him? You're going to pay him. Why wait until now and lose him for games? Like, you think you're not going to have to pay him? You think eventually he's just going to wake up and be like, I don't really want any money. Like, no. No, Mariners won 15-2. Finally, an easy win against these Pests, and we just set a season with 14 runs the other night. I know. It's crazy. Are talking about Jones or Bosa? Well, Bosa. Chris Jones, I get it. Chris Jones is defensible because he is older, and he probably just had the best year of his career. Bosa is young. Like, you're going to have to pay him. I don't know what the hell is taking so long. And here's the problem for the Niners. They are going to be good this year because of their defense. I don't think their offense is going to be that good. So losing Bosa really matters. It matters way more than the Chiefs losing Chris Jones because the Chiefs are about their offense anyway. So who really cares about losing who cares about losing him when you're going to have to outscore everybody anyway and you're used to doing that. So the Mariners and the Hawks scored the same amount of points. Yes, they did, Abby Kona. What Fire Emblem character is that in your YouTube AVI? If the Sonics come back, you're going to cover them? Yeah, I make big plays, but I might have to make a separate channel because I don't think a lot of people who sub to me here would appreciate it if I was making 3 Sonics videos a week. Like the Mariners stuff is whatever. That's a video every 2 weeks. I don't think anybody really cares about that. But how am I going to cover Sonic stuff without intruding on Mariners stuff with a bunch of people who probably don't care about basketball? Basketball is a sport that I think a lot of people who like football do not care about. So I'd have to make a separate channel, which sucks, but Chiefs did the same thing with Hill, but they ended up trading him. Yeah, I don't think they trade Chris Jones, but I don't think they pay him either. This whole situation's tough. If the Chiefs are good without Chris Jones and he doesn't have a job, they'll need him in the playoffs. They're going to be good in terms of they win regular season games. They get to farm wins against lesser teams. That's not true. Basketball and football, my 2 favorites. Oh, I know CenturyLink Seahawks. Some people. But there are definitely going to be people out there who unsub to me because they're like, I don't want basketball stuff in my dashboard or whatever. Like, I had people years ago when I was streaming video games on my YouTube channel who would comment like, I'm unsubbing, I don't care about this Dead by Daylight crap or this anime garbage, because I would stream anime games. And yeah, I get it. I don't know why people can't just deal with it, but eventually it got to the point where I was like, okay, I need to do something different. Hawks Thanksgiving night game is a short week for us and Niners since it's a home game advantage to Seahawks, right? Yes, but will it be enough to make a difference? I don't know. Well, let's see what the Niners do. By then they might have Brandon Allen starting at quarterback. They might have Brandon Allen starting at quarterback, so I don't know. Let's see what's going on with this quarterback thing. I'm not a believer in Brock Purdy. I'll say that. Have you played Texas Chainsaw? It's very fun. I have not had a chance to play it yet. And I just got Baldur's Gate, which is going to absorb all my co-op time, so I'm not really going to have an opportunity to. How good would Jamal Adams have to play for you to want to keep him next season? He'd have to play like 14 plus games and play well. If he does those things, then I'd rather have him than the money. The issue being you've got some guys who are waiting to take those starting safety jobs. The Niners were probably losing to the Eagles even if Brock was healthy. I suspect so. Obviously, Brock gives them a chance. I can admit that. But, I mean, I'm sure Shanahan's system will make Purdy look okay, like passable, but I don't think he's actually good. Purdy sucks. Did the exact same things yesterday that he did all of last year. That'll take you up to a certain point, but the thing is, the Niners do not have a good offensive line this year. Hey, Ghost, I'm doing good. I'm so happy Trey Lance's last game was against us, even with going 0-3 against the Niners. We still gave them an L. Yeah, I mean, it was going to a bad place anyway, I guess. You think the NBA anti-flop changes will work? If the referees call it appropriately, then yeah, it'll definitely work. Well, the 49ers defense allowed a lot of those points because of turnovers, and I think because they were pissed that they realized they had no chance to win. So they kept committing all those dumb penalties. Do you think Mike Jackson keeps his job on the outside for very long? I think as soon as Witherspoon's ready, he takes that job. Witherspoon's way more talented than Mike Jackson. If Purdy fails and Shanahan is in trouble, I don't think Shanahan gives up on him unless he gets injured. I kind of get the sense that Shanahan likes Darnold. I don't think he'll hesitate to put Darnold in and see what's up. I mean, we know his type at this point, right? Like Shanahan likes quarterbacks who do what they're told. He likes quarterbacks that will run the play as he wrote it up. And a quarterback like Trey Lance is not going to be that guy, which is part of the reason why this didn't work. Yeah, Artie Burns looked good. I just don't know if there's room for him on this team, Ghost. Aller's got a Pete Carroll arm. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, I've said it before. I think John Lynch should get fired. I mean Shanahan has problems, but I think Shanahan's a really good coach and the good far outweighs the bad. He might end up falling on the axe for this. That's always possible, but if I were the Niners, I would get John Lynch out of there ASAP. Like dude has CTE. Yeah, Darnold can do everything Purdy does, but also is more athletic than Purdy. Has a stronger arm and can make some plays under pressure. Yeah, I kind of part of me really does expect um, Darnold to start at some point this year. Why do you think we kept giving up the QB scramble, and do you think it'll be a problem in the regular season? Well, I can't imagine it being a big problem in the regular season because we had all our backups out there. There's not going to be a lot of correlation between what we see in the regular season and what we saw today. Would you rather keep Trey Brown or Mike Jackson? If I had to choose one, probably Trey Brown because he also has return man upside. Mm-mm. The saddest part of Bobo making the team is they didn't make a throwback jersey for him. Oops. Man, that would have sold really well, actually. Has Reed been good in New York? A lot of people are upset we didn't sign him. He's been great in New York, but I don't know why people are upset we didn't sign him. We don't need to. Like, it just wouldn't really make sense. Coward tried to say Niners found their franchise QB in Purdy. I mean, it's possible. I just don't see it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't. We have beaten the Eagles 7 straight times now. The last time we lost to them was in 08. Do you think we can keep the streak alive? It's not a good matchup for us. I really don't feel like it's a good matchup for us. That's my thing. Not only are they better than us, it's not a good matchup. Can't wait to see Gino run this full offense this year. He should be great. If he's not great, that's a big problem with all this stuff we've given him to work with. No, Gino did not play at all, right, guy. Gino did not play at all. So we've got to make all our decisions by Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So tomorrow's Sunday. So probably sometime tomorrow, I'll do my 53-man roster prediction, and then 2 days later we'll find out. The bots are back. The bots are back. Do you think we will regret passing on Carter? Well, who do you who? The front office or the fans? Do you think Gino is legitimately good, or do you think he's just a mediocre quarterback taking advantage of a good roster like Purdy? I think he's good. I don't think he's great, but he has an NFL arm. It's not like Purdy's noodle. Like Purdy has a noodle arm with very little athleticism. Gino has those things. Remember, Gino was supposed to be a first round pick, and he ended up being a high second round pick. Would love to give Parkinson a chance. The only thing with trading Fant is how unproven Parkinson is, and Disley is injury prone. Yeah, I just can't quite do it yet. I just can't quite pull that trigger yet on Fant, but I know it would save us money, so there's going to be some motivation to do it. Anyone you hope gets cut from another team so we can grab them? Oh, I'm sure there are, Eric. I just don't have any names, really. Like, there are definitely going to be guys who get cut from other teams that I want, but I just don't know their names yet because they're not big time players. They're not even really small time players. That's why they're getting cut, but they're better than what we have. Yeah, Gino was actually one of the best. Maybe by the end of the season, he was still the best tight window throw guy. Like he was making tight window throws when receivers were just not really open. Okay, Rays win. Astros only up 1-0 though. That game is not over. Spoon and Tariq will be our lockdowns for years. Love our fifth pick. Yeah, I don't think this team, yeah, by which I mean Pete and John, will ever regret passing on Carter because I think it's very obvious that the interview went badly. It's very obvious to me the interview went badly. Yeah, the fans may end up regretting it. That's very possible. Um, Other than D-line, what is the primary area of concern? Maybe inside linebacker if Devin Bush's injury is legit. By the way, what was he doing out there on special teams in the third quarter of the last preseason game? What is going on? Like, you have got to be kidding me. Are we all set, or is there one position group that you believe still needs work? And I'm not talking about the constant call for a defensive tackle. I mean, there's only so much you can do at this point, right, Hawkmaniac? There isn't a ton you can do to make things better. There are a few things you can do, but for the most part, the die is cast. I'm sure fans are going to regret the Carter thing as long as he plays well, but that's how this works. Bush has a concussion. 15 days until the next game. So the good news is he's got a real chance to come back. Yeah, it sounds like Brooks will play week 1. I just wonder how much he'll play. And would he start over Bush? Like Bush might start over a healthy or semi-healthy Brooks. Think about it like that. Well, what is Zach supposed to do, Tan Fam? There's nothing for him to work with. He's running behind the backup offensive line. Like This isn't fantasy football, guys. You can't just, right before the season starts, go, I don't like our running back anymore. Let's go get a new one. This is not fantasy football. Hey, Kyle. Thank you, Jaden. My day is going pretty well. Yeah. Oh, CJ Maxx, I'm already looking into next year's draft a ton. I did a 3-hour stream with the Hawks Nest the other day about it. Do you think the Mariners can make a run this year? I mean, they are making a run right now, kind of. They look like the best team in baseball right now, so yeah. I'm most concerned with our O-line. I think we're okay with the starters, but if someone gets hurt, I have deep concerns. Yeah, that's true for most teams, though, for being honest, right? Most teams are not going to handle offensive line injuries well. Really, David? Batista has a UCL injury? Oh, boy. Yeah, our run defense was fine today. They're actually, from the most part, it was really good. I think I'm sorry, Will Anderson would have been a Seahawk if he was there 100%. Are we at the point where everything has been said and we just need to play what hasn't been said? Well, we got to figure out some of this injury stuff. We got to figure out who's going to be there week 1 and who won't be. Five, yeah. If Will Anderson was there at 5, I think we pick that all day. He's too good to pass up there. He's too much of a sure thing. I've not seen the DK NFL ad, Abby. No. Prediction on what our home record will be this year, or are you going to make a prediction video? I will make a prediction video, Madison. 100%. I really think Bell deserves a roster spot. He does. I just don't know if it can be here, Jonathan. Like, that's still tough. He did play on the inside a lot today. Maybe that means we feel like he can do that. If he can do that, he has to make the team. He's too versatile at that point. Any potential trades you think are likely before the season starts, or are there any you would like to see for Seattle? I wouldn't mind trading like a 4th-round pick for Grover Stewart. That's probably something Indy should be willing to do at this point. Bobo's definitely making the team. We have too many receiver injuries for him to not. And remember, guys, Eskridge is on the team, but he doesn't take up a roster spot because he's suspended. So you can have him, but you don't really have him. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here in a couple minutes. I don't think there's too much to say other than what's been said. We streamed for about an hour. Pretty happy with that. I think we've said all that needs to be said. It was the last preseason game. People are just kind of happy the preseason's over. Now we just got to get to the games. Oh, okay, Abby, I will. Yeah, Sentry Seahawk. I mean, he doesn't have the prototypical build of an elite receiver, right? He doesn't do the things that the elite receivers do, but the production's pretty clearly there. So all our draft picks make the roster? I think so. I don't know who wouldn't, right? Yeah, we got 15 days before the first game, which is good because these guys need to get right health-wise. We got a lot of guys who are trying to beat the clock. Thanks for today's stream. No problem, Hogmaniac. Many more streams coming. I know people are sick of preseason stuff, but it's basically over. I want to take a little bit of a nap. I have a fantasy draft tonight, so I want to prep for that too. I haven't done a lot of fantasy legwork yet. I'm going to kind of go in blind, but whatever. Thanks for stopping by. Hope everybody had fun. Hope everybody appreciates the coverage. Hope everybody watched the game today. See you guys later on. Video coming later. I'll be on Twitch later, by the way. And go Hawks.